All right. I hate to climb back into the slime that is what this filthy Donald Trump is doing, but that happens to be the nature of this particular podcast. So take a deep breath, hold your nose, make sure you have your hazmat suit on, and here we go. The latest handful of senior FBI officials, employees, top-ranking people, have been told by the orange son of a bitch to resign in a matter of days or be fired. The orange bastard is determined to decimate the upper ranks of the FBI so that if the U.S. Senate is fucking insane enough to convince Ketchup Patel to be the new FBI director, the FBI will be turned into what it was back in the 60s and 70s, a fucking hit squad for a psychotic president. Now, these demands to top-level FBI officials came as Ketchup Patel tried to assure lawmakers. I don't know if you saw any of his confirmation hearing yesterday, but as we used to say when we were kids, it was enough to gag a maggot. I mean, first of all, the guy looks scary as hell. I know. I shouldn't relate to people based on what they look like. Oh, horse shit. Of course we do. He looks like something out of the worst goddamn nightmare I've ever had. I mean, he looks like that. I can only imagine what kind of damage Patel would do to this country. It would be extensive. But during that hours-long Senate confirmation the other day, he said he wouldn't begin a campaign of retribution to look backward by pursuing perceived rivals. Now, it's unclear whether he was informed of the decisions to decimate the top ranks of the FBI by the orange bastard. And by the way, the news of that demand to get out of town or be fired, that news was disclosed on the condition of anonymity to describe personnel matters. Isn't that a phrase we've all gotten used to ever since this filthy pig showed up on, I'm talking about Trump, a person who describes inner workings of this filthy bastard's machinery on the condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to describe personnel matters or whatever, right? Now, the employees who were FBI employees who were given this ultimatum had been promoted under Christopher Wray, who himself stepped down as FBI director this month. In an email to colleagues, one of these senior agents who was told to get out of town said he had learned he would be dismissed, quote, from the roles of the FBI, end quote, by Monday morning, last Monday. This is what, the Monday this week, this is what the guy wrote. Quote, I was given no rationale for this decision, which, as you might imagine, has come as a shock, end quote. Now, the move to do this, what this orange filthy bastard is doing, the move is remarkable in part because it is happening before there isn't even an FBI director whose duty it is to take charge of the bureau. That's what a director does. But the orange vomit, oh no, he's not going to wait. And besides, he doesn't want other people to fire people who really pissed off Trump by following the law and investigating this criminal rapist son of a bitch. He wants to be able to do it, right? FBI directors have more latitude than most agency chiefs in whom they replace into senior positions. But usually that's a longer a period of time. A new FBI director who comes in, and they're supposed to be in place for 10 years. Christopher Wray was warned, you get your ass out of town, even though Trump appointed him. I think Wray had, 3 years left on his appointment as FBI director, but he was warned. He was warned by this filthy, goddamn rapist son of a bitch, Donald Trump. Get out! Until senators vote on Ketchup's nomination, a guy named Brian Driscoll is the FBI's acting director. I don't know anything about him. Now, the decision to order these high-ranking FBI officials to leave or be fired is what it echoes what is underway right now at the Justice Department, all the various branches of the Justice Department, where career prosecutors, including top officials who hold significant decision power over how the agency makes decisions about who they're going to charge for what crimes, they have all been reassigned or fired. This is Trump's revenge tour. An agency that worked its ass off to bring charges against this criminal fucker and his associates. And there's nothing that Trump could do unless he got reelected president. And then he could be like the Grim Reaper and just go through every goddamn agency in the U.S. government that he feels didn't treat him nice and slash and burn. And all the members of Congress, the Republicans, the Christian fascist little devil cowardly jerks, they all sit there quietly while their beast messiah wreaks havoc. Some of those senior officials at the FBI who've been asked to leave are at FBI headquarters, and some are field agents. Some have already taken steps to retire and exit, just get the hell out of town. It's over. A criminal administration has taken over. So many of the top people in the Trump administration are either accused or convicted rapists, liars, cheaters, fraudsters, thieves, bullshit artists. Among those who have decided to just retire and fuck it includes an agent who works on the FBI's, who worked, past tense, on the FBI's investigation into the Russia interference in the 2016 election. Another one who hit the exit door was a person who oversaw the investigation into Trump's handling of classified documents when the orange son of a bitch stole them. These senior officials know what's coming. So rather than wait for this cretinous slob of DNA to tell them to get out, they've decided to get out on their own. And a person familiar with the personnel changes, I should say, charges. This person said that the top agent at the Washington field office, and that's the second largest field office, by the way, in the FBI, that guy was also given an ultimatum on Thursday. He'd planned to retire, but he intended to stay longer at the Bureau to help with the transition. But no, he was told, get the fuck out of here. Now, there are more staff members, agency staff, high-ranking field operators, investigators who are going to be pushed out of the agency or demoted. During Ketchup's confirmation hearing, Senator Cory Booker raised these abrupt dismissals of nearly a dozen career prosecutors at the Justice Department who worked on the criminal investigation into Trump under Special Counsel Jack Smith, and whether the Justice Department would suffer similar moves as going on at the FBI. This is what Booker asked Ketchup, quote, "Are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with Trump investigations?" That was the question. And then Booker felt compelled to remind Ketchup that he was under oath. Ketchup replied, quote, I'm not aware of that, Senator. End quote. So Ketchup is doing what Trump insists is a defining characteristic of the people he appoints to office, and that is to be able to look a questioner in the face and lie. And that takes a very adept criminal mind to be able to do that. To be able to ask a simple question and be able to look at the questioner and just lie without giving away the fact that you are lying. Also this week, security agents escorted the Inspector General of the U.S. Department of Agriculture out of her office. Yeah, they went in and said, "Pack up your fucking bag, honey," because she refused to comply with her firing by the Trump administration. You know, the Department of Agriculture. But Trump is a psychotic. Who does not understand this? That he is fucking insane. He truly is. Her name is Phyllis Fong. She's a 22-year veteran of the Agriculture Department. She earlier told colleagues that she intended to stay after the White House fired her last Friday. And her response to that, I can only imagine, was, "Fuck you, I'm not going anywhere." And she said at the time that she didn't believe the administration had followed proper protocols in order to kick her to the curb. In an email, this is reported by Reuters news agency, in an email to colleagues last Saturday, reviewed by Reuters, she said the independent counsel of the Inspectors General on Integrity and Efficiency, that was the name, Independent Counsel of the Inspectors General on Integrity and Efficiency, she said that person, quote, has taken the position that these termination notices do not comply with the requirements set out in law and therefore are not effective at this time, end quote. So the orange filth pig defended his firing of Fong and the other inspectors general, saying, quote, "These rogue partisan bureaucrats have been relieved of their duties in order to make room for qualified individuals who will uphold the rule of law and protect democracy." End quote. Just pure fucking madness. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.